Alright, and hello everybody, I'm the Sweeper27 and welcome to another Dokkan Battle video. Today we are in the Super EZA event for Physical Kid Buu, who's going to be an absolute monster, just destroying like every event of the game, even stuff that hasn't come to global yet. So something that is very interesting that I like that they did is that he is weak to pure Saiyans that have already EZA'd. That is a great addition for Super EZAs. Now they didn't do that for Dragon Fist, and I don't think that they did it for Gotenks, SSJ3 Tech Gotenks. I could be wrong, but I don't think so. But if going forward they do that, I think that'll be fun. It'll make you have to like be a little bit more creative with your team building or whatever. And there are a couple of missions here, so we have to beat it with 3 Extreme Z Awakened characters, 3 Miraculous Awakening characters, and we have to beat it within 4 minutes. Now, 4 minutes actually makes me think that this could be a little bit difficult. This is the team that we are rocking with. Our first 3 units are Miraculous Awakening units, and then every character on the team is EZA except for God Goku and the GT duo. So let's dive in. Now, with Super EZAs, everything about the character stays exactly the same except the passive. So I'm going to really quickly go over the leader skill and such. So his leader skill is all types, 3 key, 50% HP and defense, and then you get 80% attack, up to 80%, excuse me. The more HP remaining, the greater the stat boost. And then for his super attack effect, he just causes immense damage and lowers enemy defense. Defensive debuffing can be pretty huge. Global doesn't have any big bosses that can be debuffed defensively. But like JP, there are some big bosses where you are able to do that. So for his new passive, he gets 150% attack and defense at the start of turn, and 20% chance to crit, and 20% damage reduction at the start of turn. He gets an additional 250% attack when performing a super attack. When HP is 70% or more, all allies get 2 key, 50% to stats, plus an additional 1 key and 10% attack and defense for superclass allies. Or if you're an extreme class ally, you get 2 key and 20% attack and defense. That's crazy, just throwing that out there. When HP is 69% or less, all allies get 1 key and 30% attack and defense, plus an additional 1 key for superclass allies, and an additional 1 key and 20% attack and defense for extreme class allies. He gets an additional chance to crit, plus 20% up to 40, and an additional damage reduction of 20% up to 40 each time this character receives 2 attacks within the battle. And then he recovers 10% HP at the end of every turn, which this character receives 2 or more attacks in battle once per turn. So, if you didn't understand any of that, this guy's cracked out of his mind. Now, he can't really go into slot 1, but you don't really need him to. You have characters like Fat Buu, you have Buuhan, Android 21 to some extent, I could say, could maybe go to like Tech Evil Buu, Tech Transforming Buu. Pretty much everyone on the Majin Power team can go into slot 1 under the correct circumstances, right? Right. This guy in slot 2 is one of the most devastating characters in the game. So having to get hit just 4 times, that's really not a tall ask. And you don't have to get hit all at once. It's not a situation where it's like, all right, we have Tanabata SSJ4 Goku. Now that's a character who I'm a huge fan of, but even I can admit, you have to get those 5 hits pretty early on in a lot of these events, because that's when shit gets serious, you know? You want to transform into UU pretty much as soon as you can, that way you can get into full power, or you can hold on to the full power transformation, whatever. But it can be tricky sometimes getting hit those couple of times. Buu is going to be great, alright? He gets hit 4 times, that's an extra 40% damage reduction. He's basically having a higher than likely chance to crit. I mean, 60% of the time he's going to be critting. I mean, Super EZAs, he's getting crazy amount of stats. He's getting 150 at the start of turn, and an additional 250 on his super attack effect. Plus, as far as I'm aware, because nowhere in his passive does it say self-excluded, if you're above 70% HP, he's giving himself an extra 70% attack and defense. And he's giving himself ki. That's incredibly stupid. Now, he is much better on a villain team as opposed to a superclass team. But that doesn't even matter, because he is still supporting superclass characters, so you are still able to run him on characters who, like, let's say SSJ3 Angel Goku's team, who leads, you know, Majin Buu Saga or whatever. You could run him on that team if you didn't have Fat Buu. He's still going to be supporting. It's just the support you're getting is going to be, like, you're getting diminished returns. But, like, this guy is insane. I mean, I see some people on the timeline saying that he may be, like, the new Tech Gohan. And I think that maybe be a bit abrupt to just already go ahead and say that Tech Ultimate Gohan is being dethroned. But I gotta see it, man. The thing that Tech Ultimate Gohan has over this guy is Ultimate Gohan, he can go into slot 1. He's going to constantly get better throughout the fight, you know, offensive and defensive stacking. He is a offensive debuffer, which I would argue is more important than defensive debuffing. But something that this character does that I feel like people, like, when you're evaluating a character, you kind of underestimate the fact that he is giving 70% support, right? Now, like, a character like the AGL Ultimate Gohan that just recently debuted, he's a character that I feel like a lot of people are sleeping on because they don't understand just how immensely stupid his support is. It is unfathomable the amount of defense he is able to give the rotation. Now, granted, you have to have a Gotenks in slot 3, so when you're having Gohan in slot 2, right, and then Gotenks in slot 3, it's like, well, really, his defensive support on his 18 key is only really buffing Gotenks, which is a little bit problematic because, you know, Gotenks isn't already tanky, so that defensive support doesn't necessarily matter too much on him. But in certain circumstances, you are able to put that AGL Gohan into slot 1, and then just the incredible, like, again, the stupid amount of defensive support that he's able to, like, offer the rotation is immaculate. And you're basically getting that off of this character for free. I mean, even if you drop below that HP threshold and you miss out on a big portion of that, it doesn't matter. He's still going to be doing phenomenal. He's going to be doing good damage because he's critting, right? He may take a little bit of damage, like, when he only has 20%, because, let's be real, 20% damage reduction, it's not a lot. It really isn't. So, he can maybe get clapped up for those first 2 hits, but then, boom, you have 40% damage reduction. Could he still take damage? Yeah. Is he going to be eating a super at that point? Probably not. Maybe, like, a weaker enemy super, for certain. But then he gets to the 60%, and now once you're at 60% with his really high stats and his link set, which we'll get to in a second, now you're talking about, like, all right, this guy could maybe eat a super attack. Probably take a lot of damage off of it, but he's going to survive it, or if he does die, it'll be very close. But it doesn't even matter, because he's also going to be healing 10% HP if he gets hit twice. Now, that's only once per turn, so his healing's not, like, insane. He's not, like, healing at the start, healing at the end, or anything. It's just, you get hit twice, at the end of the turn, 10% of that is coming back. So if he's tanky enough that if he gets hit twice, he only loses, like, 8% of your total HP, you're already going into the positives. You're already out healing what the enemy was able to do to him specifically. And I feel like that's probably a gross understatement, because, like, he's probably going to be double-digit tanking everything. So only having a 2% healing margin, I feel like I'm underestimating what he could potentially be capable of. But he is, I think, probably the best Super EZA that we've seen. Like, in retrospect, Dragon Fist, who is very good, do not get me wrong, I feel like they almost didn't give Dragon Fist enough. You know, he's a 60% chance to dodge before he supers, and all he really does is crit for a couple of turns. And then after that, it's like, okay, well, after he supers, yeah, he can be kind of tanky, but he's just a 30% chance to dodge character. That's really nothing too special. And, you know, he tapers off really quickly, so, like, some of these longer fights, he's a very, not the best option for. This kid is incredible. Like, yeah, I know right now we have some fights that are very hard on turn 1. The transforming BUU, for example, you know, that can be very tricky because you have the ceiling and you have you losing like a 10th of your HP each turn. Like, that can be certainly tricky. But this guy, he's going to help you a lot with that. Even though, again, he's going to be weak at the start, he will take damage, he will heal it back up, and once you get to that STR Buhan phase, he's probably going to be fully built up by that point. You don't have to worry about stacking or anything. Like, he's a character who doesn't get nerfed by getting sunned or sealed or anything. Actually, no, he would, because he gets his extra stats on super attack. So it's not just attack, it's specifically on super attack. So that could actually be something to note. We may have to do a showcase in there to see if how relevant that is, if he gets stunned or sealed. Because that's pretty much where he's getting most of his stats from. Outside of that, he is just 150. And he's also going to be one of these characters who's weak to AoEs, but, like, most characters are, so I'm really not going to hold it against him. So let's go ahead and talk about his links. Now, he has a fantastic link set. Majin, Brutal Beatdown, More Than Meets the Eye, Big Bad Bosses, Infinite Regeneration, Fierce Battle, and The Wall Standing Tall. He is a great BUU linking partner. Now, More Than Meets the Eye is an interesting one. Like, if you don't run him on Majin Buu Saga, which you don't have to, because he doesn't have any Majin Buu Saga restrictions, what are some of the other characters he could be linked with? Zamasu and Guatsu, I mean, they're a decent option. Boda Magetta, I guess. Dragon Ball Super Pan. Oh, that's an interesting one. Tech Janemba. I mean, Tech Janemba will probably EZA this year, so that could be a possibility. So it's not the greatest link out there just because it's a bit rare, but there have been worse things. I mean, you look at Brutal Beatdown, almost every villain has that. Majin, every, like, Majin Buu character has that. He has BBB as well, which is going to be huge. 60% damage reduction, incredibly high defensive stats, plus BBB. Now, BBB isn't the most common. The only other character on Majin Buu Saga who has BBB, as far as I am aware, please correct me if I'm wrong, would be Buuhan characters. And I don't even think every Buuhan has it. But, like, really the only Buuhan you're going to want to worry about is the physical one. I don't think you would be running STR Super Buu in anything. I don't think he's really good enough anymore in any sort of content. But yeah, if you do have that up, so like his best linking partner will almost certainly be the Buuhan. I mean, Infinite Regeneration is also nice. A lot of Buu characters have that. Fierce Battle is pretty generic. So yeah, just having Brutal Beatdown and BBB, he can work on almost any villain team. But if you want to get the most out of his link set, you're going to want to run on a Buu team. But again, that is not a requirement for this character at all. Because he's on just like a billion teams. Resurrected Warriors, Majin Buu Saga, Transformation Boost, Artificial Lifeform, Majin Power, Planetary Destruction, Storied Figures, Legendary Existence, Sworn Enemies, Accelerated Battle, Worldwide Chaos, and Battle of Fate. A gajillion teams. He's great. I can't wait to use him. He may, I mean, hopefully, this dude may be my savior for all I know. I still haven't beaten the Kid Buu Red Zone. I've only done my first 2 attempts. I haven't done today's attempts yet. I say that as it is currently, what time is it? It is 3:34 a.m. as the time I'm recording this. So, who knows? I might do my attempts after this. We could maybe throw him on the team or something. I think I'm going to try the nuking strategy that Toon Rami did. Because you didn't see his video. That's how he was able to beat it. He bought Chilai items, except he has a couple of different characters that I don't have in my box, but I don't know. But yeah, that will be it for his details. Yeah, let me know what you guys think of it, but I'm going to finish grinding up his medals real quick, and then we can join right back. I can show you the build that I have for this guy, because I did actually... So, I did the banner right now, where it's 3 times you could summon on the Majin Buu banner, and it only cost you 30 stones. I did my 3 summons on those. I got trash, unfortunately, but it was worth it just so I would maybe not have to spend red coins. I did ultimately spend red coins. I actually spent 300 red coins because I wanted to buy a dupe in him, because I wanted to get some dodge into his passive. So I will show you the build that we have in just a moment. But yeah, I'll be right back, and we can wrap up the video. Alright, so this is the build that I decided to go with. I want to go primarily dodge. So I understand he needs to get hit. Like I said, he has to get hit 4 times. But, in the grand scheme of things, getting hit 4 times is not going to be too very difficult. And again, I don't think this guy is going to be able to eat super attacks until he gets hit 4 times. So in my brain, what is going to be more likely? I dodge the 3rd hit and I eat a super and die, or before he's fully built up, or even after he's fully built up, he dodges an attack that he can't live. I think that's the way that it's going to happen. Also, this just so happens to be a defense boost as well. That's going to add a little bit of extra tankiness to him. And then we gave him a nice defensive equip, because he is a 60% chance to crit character. I don't really think he's going to need more crit. You know what I mean? And then on additional, he doesn't have a super attack effect, so I don't really think it matters too much that we give him one. But let's go ahead and get this boy awakened, and we can see, yeah, I love the new little, like, fiery banners that they put around him. But yeah, that'll be all for this time, guys. I've been the Super27. I'm a variety Twitch streamer and an up-and-coming YouTuber trying to make it big in the world. I have a Twitter, Twitch, TikTok, and a YouTube. Links to which can all be found in the description of this video. And while you're down there, don't forget to like, subscribe, share me around, and leave me a comment. Positive, negative, or indifferent. I would love just any sort of interaction I can get from you guys. Let me know, how excited are you to be using Kid Buu, and how good do you think he is? Do you think he's better than Tech Ultimate Gohan? I feel like that'll be the question of the day, and that is something I will be very interested to find out myself. But yeah, that'll be all for this time, guys. So as always, I've been the Super27, and I am signing off.